Welcome back. Welcome back. The all new RadioFire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here. Thank you for joining me. So much to get into. Just when you think that you have this whole thing figured out, other things tend to happen. Today on the show, we're going to talk about, of course, the crisis going on down in Texas. And unfortunately for Texans, they have this clown of a senator, Ted Cruz. Nobody likes Ted Cruz. And you've heard me say this before. Ted Cruz's wife doesn't like Ted Cruz. Like, nobody likes Ted Cruz, right? Who was it? Somebody said he has a punchable face. I don't know. It might have been Kid from Kid and Play that said that. So Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, this Trump supporting, bootlicking, Trump disrespected Ted Cruz's wife, his deceased father, all that. Ted Cruz still licks Trump's boots. That being neither here nor there. So we all know Texas is in a crisis right now. And what did Ted Cruz do? Senator Ted Cruz flew to Mexico with his family for a holiday amid this winter weather crisis that has left millions in the state of Texas without power. Texas is a big place. A lot of people there. So in a statement today, Ted Cruz said that he planned the trip for his daughters, wanting to be a good dad. So this clown tries to flip it and tries to make himself out to be the good guy. I mean, what? So you've probably seen the photos of the Republican lawmaker at an airport on Twitter. People started posting the photos of him at the airport on Wednesday, obviously showing that he left Texas amid this energy crisis, right? Is this what your senator is supposed to be doing, going on vacation, right? So anyway, Texas has seen power and water outages due to the uncommonly frigid weather. So the high-profile, crap-talking Republican clown, Ted Cruz, of course, has drawn a lot of criticism for taking an international trip in the middle of a weather emergency in his state. But see, that's what people do when it's not election season, right? He's not up for election, so he doesn't give a damn. He's like, "Look, the power's out. What can I do?" Right? There's a lot that he can do. And speaking of that, I mean, it's just people in Texas literally freezing to death. Yet Ted Cruz is on vacation in Cancun. Something about that just does not does not equal out. He actually tries to defend this trip, right? He's trying to defend the trip. I mean, it should be no surprise. Folks stormed the Capitol, killed a police officer, hurt over 100 others, 5 people dead. They defended that. So him taking a trip to Cancun, that should be no surprise. He released a statement Thursday saying that it was an infuriating week for Texans, right? Infuriating because they elected your clown self. With schools closed in Texas, the senator said that he booked the vacation for his young daughters who asked to take the trip with friends, right? Ted Cruz, he's throwing his daughter under the bus, right? Yeah, I know y'all elected me, but my daughter wanted to do this, so it's not my fault. Don't blame me, blame my daughter. Cruz has not apologized for making the trip amid the state of emergency in Texas, but said that he and his staff are in constant communication with the state and local leaders to get to the bottom of what happened in Texas. We know what happened in Texas. Republicans refused to prepare the state for emergencies like this. This is Republicans' fault in Texas. Republicans have been running Texas for the last 10 years or so, probably more. So spotted boarding the plane. If it wasn't for some folks spotting Ted Cruz on the plane, we may not have known. But he spotted him on the plane, him and his family. And initially he released a statement that said that he was accompanying his daughters on a trip while school was canceled for the week. All right. Now he's called the trip a mistake. But needless to say, the millions left without power are not happy with their Senator Ted Cruz. It is regretful. Texas deserves a better representative than this guy. He says, look, it was an obvious mistake, and in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it. What? What is he talking about? So a social media user posted this clown, Ted Cruz, on Twitter on Wednesday, and then other pictures followed. Decided to go on vacation in Mexico, Cancun, while Texans suffered without water, without heat, without power. Well, he says it was a mistake. It's my bad. Right? He's not sorry. He's sorry that he got caught. Sorry that he got caught. I hope that Texans remember this. There's going to be other things. You got this. You got the way that he's handled the insurrection, and there are other things as well. But I want you to remember this when it is time for him to attempt to run for whatever he's going to run for. He says that he understands why people are upset. Ted Cruz. He said that he was trying to make his daughters happy by going with them on this trip. Nothing would have made his daughters happier, I think, than for him not to go on a trip. They wanted to get away from him. He's a clown. I mean, he's a clown. And he's clearly lying. He's only saying this because he got caught. The only reason. And you know, okay, so he's really beginning to second guess the decision because of the backlash. The backlash of people. This does not look good. The firestorm is increasing. And at least as long as folks are, without power, it is going to really look bad for the senator.
And millions of Texans have lost power, have lost heat, and have been hurt. And our family was among them. We had no heat and no power. And yesterday, my daughters asked if they could take a trip with some friends, and Heidi and I agreed. So I flew down with them last night, dropped them off here, and now I'm headed back to Texas and back to continuing to work to try to get the power on. What's happening in Texas is unacceptable, and a lot of Texans are hurting.
It's amazing that that was Ted Cruz. Don McKay in here on the All New Radio on Fire. So we're talking about Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, caught by social media folks. And the Senate is in recess this week. So before Ted Cruz released his initial statement, the Houston Police Department confirmed that Cruz's staff asked it Wednesday afternoon to assist him in his arrival and movements through George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston. So the police said that they reached out to us, let us know that he was going to be arriving, and could we assist upon his arrival to the Houston airport. We monitored his movements. Police department spokesperson said, of course, Democrats are outraged as millions of people across Texas have been struggling without power, without heat, and have suffered water system disruptions for several days in record low temperatures. There was a prison in Texas that they can't even flush the water into place. So Cruz being so out of touch. And if this does not ring the bell for climate change, I mean, I don't know what will. You know, it must be easy not to believe in climate change if you can just leave millions of Texans suffering without power or water to go sit on a beach in Cancun, and you've been elected by those same people. It must be real difficult for him to do. Ted Cruz. This is usually a time when elected officials want to show their constituents how much they are committed to helping them. But what does Ted Cruz? Ted Cruz does? He decides to go on vacation. All right. Power's out. What can I do? All right. I mean, the way that Hurricane Katrina happened, them not supporting the levees, the way this has happened, it is just a debacle. It is crazy in 2021 that something like this is even happening. Death toll rising. And another loser, Texas Governor Abbott, trying to place the blame everywhere that he possibly can place it, aside from where it belongs. And where does it belong? It belongs firmly in his lap. Right now in Houston, 32 degrees. 32 in Houston right now. These frigid temperatures have people may wonder, like, what is going on in Texas? What's causing all of this, right? And what's going on is that the frigid temperatures have devastated Texas power grid. Texas has a power grid, and normally Texas is a lot of desert, a lot of a different type of weather. They're not used to this. And what has happened is that climate change is what brought the winter storm to Texas. In Dallas, residents are trying to wait out the freezing temperatures. And it is all kind of mess going on. Deaths are mounting as this winter storm has left millions without power. 48 hours without power in sub-freezing temperatures. That's what's going on, right? That's what's going on right now. So definitely people should be you have to hold these leaders accountable. You have to hold these leaders accountable. And we're going to talk about a Democratic leader who's under fire right now. I don't want y'all to think that I'm just talking about Republicans. Any of them doing wrong, we got to throw them under the bus. We got to put them on the stage. We got to put them on the stage. So this firestorm heating up for Ted Cruz, and he has returned from his trips. Not happy. He's not happy at all. And for somebody who claims that they were just, it's amazing to me, like, how these men and women just lie. He just lies so much. But that's Ted Cruz, and no surprise. I mean, that's the kind of loser that Texans have elected. So the let's read the full statement. Here's the full statement from Ted Cruz. This has been an infuriating week for Texans. The greatest state in the greatest country in the world has been without power. We have food lines, gas lines, and people sleeping at the neighbor's house. Our homes are freezing and our lights are out like millions of Texans. Our family lost heat and power too. With school canceled for the week, our girls asked to take a trip with friends. Wanting to be a good dad, I flew down with them last night and I am flying back this afternoon. My staff and I are in constant communication with state and local leaders to get to the bottom of what happened in Texas. We want our power back, our water back on, and our homes warm. My team and I will continue using all of our resources to keep Texans informed and safe. Right? That's not that's not the statement he really wanted to give. Had he not been caught by folks on the plane, he would not have been issuing that statement. But I really want to hammer down how much of a loser Ted Cruz is for blaming his daughter for going off to Cancun, right? My daughter made me do it. I mean, first of all, she's a kid, right? What kid says, you know what? I'm going to go to Cancun with my friend. Like, that's not even a kid place. That's not even what kids do. Right? Yeah. Hey, Dad, can me and my friends go to Cancun? No, come on. He wanted to be a good dad. All right. Doesn't it just tug at your heartstrings? Right? You see the bag that he took for this overnight trip he was just accompanying his daughters, right? See that bag? That's not an overnight bag. You people have stayed the night at somebody's house before. That's not the bag you take for an overnight trip, right? What's in Ted Cruz's bag? And let's just pretend for a minute. Let's pretend for a minute that his kids said, "Can we go to Cancun?" Right? A good dad would say, "No, we can't go. The optics, we can't go to Cancun right now. When the people that are paying our bills don't even have any lights right now, we're going to go to Cancun." That's the ultimate let them eat cake moment right there, right? But the good dad, quote unquote, blames his kids. Cancun Cruz. That's what we need to call him now. Now he's Cancun Cruz. He'll have plenty of time to be a good dad in Cancun when he's voted out the next chance you get. Texans, come on. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right? Now, even if the kids go and and their mother goes, right? I might could see that. I might could see that if the mom goes, right? No, Ted Cruz got to go and he's got to pack this big dumb bag. A good dad's not going to travel to Cancun during this pandemic, and let's not even forget the fact that this is on top of the pandemic. A good dad would model empathy for his girls and show them what real leadership looks like when their state is without power, water, and heat. A good dad isn't a bigot. A good dad doesn't support insurrection. And a good dad doesn't look like Ted Cruz. All right? These girls need daddy's escort flying out. But they're okay with their daddy on the foreign soil. Ted Cruz ain't protecting nobody. He had to call the police so he could get on the plane. Like a good dad. I mean, I don't even think he knows what a good dad is. The greatest state in the greatest country You are not the greatest anything, Ted Cruz. Not the greatest anything. Jermaine Diamond K in here. The all-new RadioOnFire.com. Of course, we're talking about Ted Cruz and Heidi's husband, Cancun Cruz, throwing his kids under the bus. That's a very strange way to say, I'm sorry. Nobody should be buying this crap. Could have at least sent another family member with the kids. This is the privilege speaking over the needs of the constituents in Texas. That overnight bag, as you can see, that overnight bag looks pretty big for a turnaround trip. Now, if a Democrat had issued a whack statement like that, Republicans would be saying that he was running a child sex trafficking thing, and there were pedophiles and lizard people, and that's all the stuff that the GOP would be saying if a Democrat said something like that. All right? People have got to learn that when conservatives are against something like unions, like abortions, they're only really against poor people having those things. The hypocrisy of Ted Cruz and others like him. Now, let's never mind the fact that he's allowing his kids to travel out of the country during a pandemic to a place that, and here's the thing, they're traveling out of the country to a place where people that he thinks need to be kept out of the U.S. are, right? He's one of those people talking about keeping Mexicans out, but you want to go to Mexico and chill with the Mexicans. Well, I mean, what kind of hypocrisy is that? His wife doesn't hold a public service job. She could have taken him, right? Right? His wife is there. Right? But of course, this is nothing, right? This is hypocrisy. But this is over and over and over again, right? And if you're wondering, his girls are 10 and 12. How old are their friends staying in Cancun together? You expect us to believe this crap? 10 and 12-year-olds going to Cancun. This is Ted Cruz's excuse. Blaming his daughters. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at the Diamond K Show, at Radio and Fire. Ted Cruz wants to get to the bottom of what's happening. I'll tell him what's happening. You need to now give me some free announcements. 20 years total of Republican power is what happened. Republicans always screw the people that put their trust in them first. That's what Republicans do. That's what they do. And Republicans always have a story that completely absolves their terrible, self-absorbed choices every single time. Every time. Like every time. Every time something happens to Donald Trump, oh my God, he's the victim. Every time something happens to Ted Cruz, he's the victim. Every time. Like every time. Ted Cruz probably needs to quarantine for a couple of days, right? This man needs to be in quarantine. All right. Oh my goodness. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we need to talk about Governor Cuomo in New York. He might get impeached. I mean, they are the fight. You talk about a firestorm. Governor Cuomo is having a firestorm of his own. He's a Democrat. We're going to talk about him too. The bus is pulling up for us to throw Cuomo under because he's been doing some shady things allegedly in New York, and we're going to talk about that after this. Radio on Fire is a listener-supported radio and podcast network streaming from our production facilities in Baltimore and Atlanta. We're able to broadcast programs like the Diamond K Show because of our listeners and some amazing partners like The Lifestyle Secrets. Are you a baby boomer? Were you born between 1946 and 1964? Well, more than 71 million Americans are baby boomers. And as you're continuing to age, the goal is to experience as few aches and pains as possible while staying mobile. TheLifestyleSecrets.com helps you do just that by providing a blueprint to reduce and or eliminate joint pain by teaching its members to communicate naturally with their bodies. TheLifestyleSecrets.com gives baby boomers step-by-step videos, natural recipes, and most importantly, the motivation to re-energize themselves naturally. Visit TheLifestyleSecrets.com to join this active community of baby boomers today. And I encourage you to shop with all the companies that support Radio on Fire. Before we get back to the show, have you ever had a NutriBurst liquid vitamin? This stuff tastes great, and they say it's great for you. NutriBurst liquid vitamin. Now, my girl Moochie told me about this, and me and Moochie go way back. She said, Diamond K, you have got to try this. So I asked Moochie, what's so special about NutriBurst liquid vitamin? What makes it so good? Then she gave me the rundown. Check this out. 72 minerals, 10 vitamins, 22 phytonutrients, 19 amino acids, 13 whole vegetables, and 20 herbs. Get your NutriBurst liquid vitamin today at totallifechanges.com/mymoochie. That's totallifechanges.com/mymoochie. Tell them Radio on Fire sent you.
Giving you more talk, more news, and more music. It's Radio on Fire.
This pandemic has really sped up what was already happening. The world has become even more digital. Folks are on their computers, their tablets, their phones, all the time. This is where people go to get their information. Here at Radio on Fire, our target listener is 23 to 54 years old. So business owners, I know times are hard, but I also know how important it is to get in front of your customers. Advertise your business, product, service, or event on Diamond K in the Morning or any of the other Radio on Fire programs. We have an affordable package for you. Visit radioonfire.com/advertise to get started. Again, radioonfire.com/advertise. We'd love to connect with you. Welcome back. You man, Diamond K in here. radioonfire.com, the all new radioonfire.com. So in New York, Texas. We talked about Texas in the previous segment, but New York is where we're getting ready to go now. And Andrew Cuomo, who is the governor of New York, he's having a tough time right now. He is justifiably so. Justifiably so. Excuse me. It seems like he is facing a federal investigation over his handling of COVID-19 in his state. So we're going to get to the New York Assemblyman who alleges that Cuomo threatened him over this nursing home scandal. And I want to talk about the nursing home scandal. What is it? Why is it an issue for the governor of New York? So Cuomo has been pleading with lawmakers for support. And it appears that he has even been threatening political retribution against Democrats who have criticized him in an aggressive effort to, contain the fallout from this nursing home scandal that he is going through. And so what happened is that you had, under the direction of Cuomo, he's probably going to maybe throw somebody else under the bus, but you had folks that had COVID placed in the nursing home with folks who didn't have COVID in New York, and this is a problem. This is a major problem. So the FBI is investigating Cuomo's handling of the nursing home deaths. So what happened there? So in the recent weeks, the administration revealed that 15,000 long-term care residents have died. That's terrible. Now, that is up from the 8,500 that were previously disclosed. So they were manipulating the numbers. The U.S. Attorney in Brooklyn and the FBI have begun a preliminary investigation into the way Cuomo's administration handled the data about nursing home deaths. So they were twisting the numbers after, for what purpose, right? For what purpose? People for the attorneys and the FBI have declined to comment. But as we publicly said, the DOJ has been looking into this for months. We have been cooperating with them, and we will continue to do so, a senior advisor for the governor said last night. So last month, State Attorney General Letitia James released a damning report that said that the state health department underreported COVID-19 deaths at nursing homes by as much as 50%. 50. So, I don't know, but definitely some heads have to roll. Now, I do want to say this. Republicans that are quick to jump on this, when we have had evidence of Trump's manipulating the numbers, oh, that's different. But because it's a Democrat, Republicans are all over this. I just want to make that known. Earlier this week, the governor acknowledged that things should have been done differently, and he insisted that lessons were learned. Cuomo at one time thought he was going to be able to, maybe get a job in Biden's administration or maybe even run for president himself. I don't see how he gets through this one. He says this in retrospect, we should have given more priority to fulfilling information requests. You don't say? Cuomo also said, I want to make sure that people know that these are the facts. Everything that could have been done was done. What? That's what he says. Democratic and Republican lawmakers in New York are now reported to be reconsidering their decision to grant Cuomo emergency powers to contend with COVID-19 crisis. Oh, anything that they could blame him for right now, they're going to do it. New York was hit hard in these early days of the pandemic. Y'all remember? And until recently, the state led the country in COVID-19 deaths. He hasn't been doing that good of a job. It had recorded 47,301 as of Wednesday, second only to California's 47,670 deaths. Most of New York's deaths came in the early days of the pandemic, when public health officials were trying to figure out how the virus was spreading. So, I don't know how this is going to go, but like I said, they may try to impeach him. I don't know how many friends he has that are stand up for him in the government. But let me say this is a crime. He underreported the data because he was maybe he was worried about how it looked. I mean, I don't know. But it is definitely it is definitely something that is not going to be brushed under the rug, nor should it be. But know this: when the Democrats are in trouble, they're gonna get it much worse than the Republicans. They're gonna get it much worse, much worse. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at the Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Man, there is so much going on. So much going on. Texas prices for lodging and necessities are skyrocketing amid this storm. So you see that frequently happens. The price gouging frequently happens. Power has been restored to more homes and businesses, but there are many, many folks still without power. This deadly winter blast that overwhelmed the electrical grid and left millions shivering in cold this week. Heart goes out to them. In Texas on Thursday, about 325,000 homes and businesses remained without power, down from about 3 million. Though utility companies said that limited rolling blackouts are still possible. Rolling blackouts is when the power comes on, goes off, comes on, goes off. Imagine how frustrating that is. Imagine how frustrating that is. Just tuning in, it's your man Diamond K on the all-new Radio on Fire. And we still have, some other things to get to. Of course, you can always visit radioonfire.com if you miss any episodes of our programs and all that good stuff. So this weekend we have some live broadcasts. Definitely want you to tune in to that. That is something that we're looking forward to. Broadcast from Atlanta. And a video, I mean, this is some newly released video from a September 2020 encounter, shows cops in California fatally shoot a black man after stopping him for jaywalking. That's right, jaywalking. Watch this. He's going to jaywalk, said two of San Clemente officers who are watching the 42-year-old from their cruiser. The officers then pull up alongside him. His name is Kurt Ringhold. Are you going to stop, or are we going to have to make you stop? For what? Ringhold says. For jaywalking, the officer replied. What are you talking about? I'm walking. It appears he doesn't even know what jaywalking is. A fight breaks out as the officers attempt to force Reinhold back onto the sidewalk. At one point, one of the officers can be heard yelling, "He's got my gun." His partner immediately opened fire and fatally strikes the man. Yep. That's what happened. I mean, jaywalker. They did this because the guy was jaywalking. I mean, that's America. That is America. The guy didn't even know what jaywalking is. I mean, it's not one of the more enforced crimes, jaywalking. I don't think that anybody wants to see anybody killed But that's what happened there. Last thing, a Texas mayor resigned after telling freezing residents to quit crying. Tim Boyd, who is now the former mayor of Colorado City, Texas, made headlines after a lengthy Facebook post bad-mouthing residents residents of his city during this statewide power and heat outage. His resignation came just hours after the insensitive Facebook post where he told Colorado City, Texas residents, "No one owes you or your family anything. The city, the country, along with the power providers or any other services, owes you nothing." All caps. He added that he's sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout. Now, for a bit of context, large areas across Texas, if you didn't know, have been without power as they've gone through this once-in-a-generation storm that has already claimed the lives of at least 5 people. The now former mayor said, bottom line, quit crying and looking for a handout. Get off your ass and take care of your own family. That's what he said. He later apologized for this rant, saying that I would never want to hurt the elderly or anyone that is in true need of help to be left to fend for themselves. Wow. There you have it. There you have it. You know, I mean, I really don't know, but these type of people should not get in politics, should not get in to any business where you have to serve the people. A public servant, he is not. And we are out of time. I will be back here tomorrow. Your man Diamond K, as always, at the Diamond K Show at Radio on